guys, so everyone's asking about the Dodge Dakota. This is actually one of the first LSK trucks. This is my first truck in high school. I got it when I was 15, going on 16 when I got my license, and I've had this truck now for 15 years, and it doesn't matter what vehicle I own. This is definitely the one that is I'm most proud of, or at least most connected to. It's funny how that kind of works, but so this truck actually started. It was one of the first trucks I ever built a front bumper on. This is not the first bumper that was on it. I had this bolt-on bumper that looked absolutely terrible that was on the truck. It was all spray painted. I built it in high school. We had a small engine in the aircraft shop in Burbank at Burroughs High, and I was able to build it there. They had material, so I kind of learned how to do tube bending and welding there, and that's where I got really interested in it. This is actually the truck where Van and I got connected when we created LSK out of my mom's garage. In my mom's garage, we actually built our first long travel kit on this. It was bolt-on to the truck, and the arms were ridiculously overbuilt. They had ball joints on the end, and we did it together. Van taught me how to do all the geometry, and that's kind of where we started off. This is not the original kit though. We did upgrade this one. This went on there probably about 8 years ago when we wanted to make something a little bit more legitimate. Most of the stuff on this truck is, I'd say, 7 to 9 years old, and it gets driven like once a year. However, this weekend we're doing Mojave Trail, so we bring it out. I cleaned it up, and you know, it makes a new appearance for when we take it out. It's not meant to be pretty, but it is a lot of fun to drive. You can just slam it into stuff, drive it into anything, and it's not like you're worried about scratching it. I probably wrapped the car probably 3 times. This is the 3rd wrap, and yeah, it's cool. Is like just pull the wrap off and replace it, and replace the panel. This is all fiberglass from Advanced Fiberglass. This is actually the 2nd set of fiberglass. We had one that came originally from Mexico, and then those got busted up, and we put these on there probably 10 years ago. So in the front, let me see if this is built in. Yeah. So probably did this, I'd say, about 9 years ago. This is the engine cage. I was really excited about this. This is a cool design where I wanted to make the engine easy to get in and out. Still a V6, 3.9 liter, but you know, hey, we geared it correctly, so it feels like it's got some power, even though it doesn't. So the engine cage, all inch 3/4, 120 wall. I built the bumper into it. Everything was handmade. This is before we were doing it on the computer. Remounted the latch, remounted all the electronics, made a custom air filter box out of aluminum, put a K&N filter on it, and yeah, so that's kind of the gist up underneath here. A lot of the factory stuff still have the air conditioning. So yeah. So looking at along the side, on the kit, we used Dana 44 hubs from a old Bronco, which people are really familiar with. It's a 5-lug. So the truck actually was a 6-lug originally, and made it into a 5-lug. When I built the rear axle, I made it match the 5-lug. So the whole truck's been converted to 5-lug, so everything matches. We've got the method wheels on it. We have the 35-inch BF Goodrich tires, which I love these things. The KM3s are awesome. We just have a single coil over, and because this truck is so light, it's got a V6. I mean, you can really get after it. The shocks get hot, but they don't get that hot.
We ain't gonna be in no fire, not today.
Like, it's good for just cruising and going through whoops and railing some turns, and it's fun. It doesn't beat you up too bad. It's definitely a cool thing to cruise around. So moving back here, let's go on the other side. So first and foremost, you know, back in high school, we used to take this thing out to, you know, Gorman and hit the trails, you know, around wherever we can get into. It had the plastic dash, and the thing just eventually kind of fell into my lap, and it kept breaking and cracking. So I yanked that thing out of there. Probably built this dash about 8 or 9 years ago, and hand rolled the tubing and welded it all together, and then I handmade and sheared all the aluminum. Got it powder coated. It was like one of my earlier things I've done. This is the first panel I ever bead rolled. I've got 3 triangles here just to stiffen it up, and then added a rugged radio. This is newer. I actually did that. I water jet the hole into it about 2 years ago, so I can add that in. But I still remounted all the air conditioner controls. I remounted my single din radio I had. It's got a bumping sound system, got a subwoofer in the back. And I have my Lawrence mount over there I put in there probably about 2 years ago, so I water jet into that panel that was already powder coated. The inside's just empty though. We've got it's fully caged. You can see if you want to take a look. We got lights on the roof. Everything's all nicely wired. The speakers are really nicely wired. It's solid. And the seats, these are probably close to about 10 or 11 years old. I've got some new PRP ones that are going in there. I think these are about time to retire. They start to fade. But they were good seats. They lasted a while. They're Mastercraft. I think these were really popular a ways back. They were just cheap and easy to buy during high school, and that's what we rocked with, you know. And then we have Crow seat belts, 3-inch wide ones. So yeah, it's cool. I think something that I kind of look at that's different is like, still used all the factory gauges. Like this truck still passes smog, you know, like it's all got all the original equipment on it. It's got the original gauges on it. All the gauges work. The original light switch works. I mean, everything is still there. All the air conditioning stuff still works, still blows ice cold. So like, I want to make sure that all stay retained. I think one day this thing will get a V8, but for now, it doesn't destroy itself by having a V6. So it's kind of cool. This is the bed cage that we hand built. This is probably one of the earlier bed cages I've done. It's got what they call a giant 64-inch leaf pack that's made by Deaver. It's just a really awesome spring under leaf pack. We've got our bump stop here. We've got our Fox 2.5, and it's a light truck. It works really good. There's a lot of arch on these springs, and it has a lot of up travel. So the up travel really makes this thing work good. And we made sure to tie the cage, you know, into the cab cage, which was cool. We got and moving back here to the back, we've got spare tire mount. I actually need to fix this today before we go on the trail, but we got the custom tire carrier back here, so when we, you know, bump into each other out on the trail, we're not worried about it. This truck is just fun just to hit whatever we want to, you know, run into out in the desert. So and then below here, this is the part that makes it actually you know, worthwhile to take out there and not break. It's got a full fabricated housing that we made. I did this about a year and a half ago. It's got some miles on it now though. It's got all welded, and then we put 513 gears in it. Really, you know, we had to go that high so that we can get the V6 to turn this thing with big 35. So it actually drives fairly well for the size of the tires on that V6 motor because of the gears. And we just put a spool in it, so it's fun, and it turns totally fine. All the brakes are all 4-piston, super light Wilwood calipers. Did all the custom brake lines, limit straps. Still have the stock fuel tank, so it passes smog. And then all these leaf spring hangers are all custom. The cage is tied into the front one. Did a cool mount here for, you know, the cage comes down and touches the mount, so it's all nice and strong and tied together. And on the top, have the KC highlights, Pro 6 light bar, and then on the front, got a rigid light that really helps down low, cutting through the dust, and you know, and it does a really good job just keeping those dark spots at night over the bumps lit up. So yeah, so this is it. She's not meant to be pretty, but she always starts, and we're gonna go beat on it this weekend, and you know, we can hit some bushes and not cry about it. So but yeah, I appreciate you guys checking this out. It'll keep getting upgraded. Hopefully one day it'll be a little bit prettier, but this is I'd say the second LSK truck. The first one was a Ranger, which is not in existence anymore. We took it apart years ago thinking we were going to build it, and it just never happened, so it just became a cab. And so this is the last OG you know, truck that we had that was from the garage days. So thank you guys. We'll see you guys next time.
Okay, for the people who are going to ask,
yeah.
This is not a production kit.
Oh yeah. So just so you guys know, this is not a production vehicle. To be honest with you, if you guys did call about the front kit, we have the files, we can make it custom order. But everything you see here, this is just, you know, we built it by hand. It was just a fun project that did years ago. But just kind of keep that in mind. I know a lot of people are probably going to hit us up every time we post about Dakota. Everyone's like, oh, you have Dakota parts, and really we have the front kit, we could do that. But other than that, all the pieces in here are custom and one-off. So appreciate you guys, and thanks for listening, and we'll see you guys next time.